much were you teased growing up
A lot.
because of your size?
A lot. I had to figure out two things. Either intimidate you or make you laugh. I was always a bully. Until one day in 5th grade, I had a spit wad. I threw it at the chalkboard, it splattered. This kid rats me out. But prior to that, my father said, if you get suspended again, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna beat you like you never been beat before because you're irresponsible, you're a medium level juvenile delinquent, and moving at this pace, you're gonna be nothing in life. I'm not having that in my house. So I wait for the kid. First I go to the office, 3 days. So now I gotta go home.
You're suspended for 3 days.
Suspended for 3 days. So now I gotta go home. I already know what I'm getting when I get home. But before I go home, I'm gonna whoop your ass. So I'm beating this kid up and I'm kicking this kid and he has a epileptic seizure. It's just me and the kid out there and he's on the ground shaking. And now I'm frightened because, uh-oh. So then a guy comes and he saves the kid. And, but after that, I go home, I get disciplined, my mother pulls me to the side and says, you're too big and too strong, you can't ever do that again. And that kind of stayed with me. I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. So then I was like, I'm not gonna beat people up. Let me go to plan B on how to get them to like me. Because I was always a class clown, funny guy. So now let me just, do this a lot to get people to like me. And I just stuck with that rather than being a bully.
Before that, how would people tease you?
Shaquille, Sasquatch, big African. So I stuttered when I talk, big dummy. Mm-hmm. And I was always shy. I would look at you and I would look at your test scores and you look like a smart ass. You'd probably have an 80.
Deceiving.
You'd probably have a 90 or an 80. I was intimidated by that. I was like, I'm not that smart, I can't do it. I was very, very shy and always had self-doubts about myself and just never thought I could do it, anything.
What changed that?
A geek saved my life. Junior year in high school, right before the state tournament, I got a 68. I got one test left. Everybody's bullying this guy. So I'm like, you know what? Because he was cool. Like he never said anything, I never said anything to him. We called him McDougal. I wish I could remember his name. We called him McDougal. So everybody was messing with him. So I came to his aid, I was like, listen, y'all mess with McDougal, you gotta mess with me. I didn't really know him, so I was sitting and then he came to the lunch table, he was like, man, appreciate it. I hear you having some problems in government, I could help you out. I was like, what, you wanna tutor me? So every day after school, he'd tutor me. And the way he tutored me, I was like, this really is not that bad. It was kind of easy. But because I had self-doubts and felt that I wasn't smart, like I didn't even look at it. Like I'll never pass anyway, so he helped me out. That's when I realized that nerds and geeks are very cool people. And it also taught me another valuable lesson. You don't always have to judge people for who they are and what they do. So now I'm a nerd and I'm a geek. But anyway, this guy helped me out. We passed. We lose in the state semifinals. But then the next year, whenever I had problems, I'm like, McDougal, I need help in algebra 2. Or McDougal, I need help in chemistry. And he was always there for me.
I was talking to your mom as well yesterday, Lucille. Great lady, and she was talking about how growing up, times were tough, that you guys were on food stamps at times. She remembers waiting in a line to get a turkey for Thanksgiving, having to get charity Christmas presents to give to you and your siblings.
I seen her, sorry to cut you off, I seen her almost fist fight with a bus driver.
Over what?
Because I don't know what the rules are now, but let's just say like under 5, you can ride free. So at 5, I'm a big kid. So she pulls me on the bus, and the guy was like, hey, you got to pay the extra $1. She's like, no, I don't, he's only 5. He's not 5, lady, you're lying, you're trying. So they were going into a fight. But, my mother was a very, very strong woman. If I can remember, I think she put that 2-piece on him, but I'm not sure. You know what the 2-piece is? Bing, bing.
Okay. How tough were times growing up?
Very tough. And
in what ways?
Like she said, food stamps, moving from relative to relative's house. And because I was on punishment a lot, I created a process that was called dreamful attraction. Like I used to be so upset at our circumstances that I always used to just sit there and be like, when I make it, I'm gonna get my grandma a big house. when I make it. And like for me saying when I make it, now I got to go out and produce. Now I got to go out and prepare myself. So instead of hanging out on the corner with the homies slinging the dime bags, I'm at the court. Instead of going to the club following the girls, I'm in the room writing my raps or DJing. Cause I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it because my mother's my favorite person in the world. And I've seen her at times break down and cry. And I was like, you know what? I'm the man of the house. I gotta change this. And my grandmother, rest in peace, she's the only one that believed me. Because again, I was a medium level juvenile delinquent. Steal cars, beat people up. I would just do crazy stuff because I was a follower instead of a leader.
What made you know she believed in you?
Because she always just tell me. Like whenever I used to get on punishment by my mother and father, she'd come in and be like, baby, I believe you. I'd be like, Grandma, when I get rich, I'm gonna get you a house. I know, baby, I know. And she'd give me that Innemans. I love Innemans. Innemans, cheese, Danish rolls, and some ice cream. I know, baby. And she was like, you just need to stay out of trouble. I know.
How much do you think that helped you?
A lot. Because she believed in it. And my mother and my grandma, they're my favorite two people.
You were raised, in addition to your grandmother's involvement in your life, by your mom and your late stepdad, who I know you love dearly, and I'm going to ask you about in a moment. Your biological father was not part of your life. Why was there no interest on your end in, having a relationship with him?
Because, the term stepfather, I don't really use. I use father. He's the guy who made me who I am. I'm in a big old house because of that man. I'm still relevant 5 years after playing because of that man. I'm responsible because of that man. So I thought it would be disrespectful to meet another man, especially then. He passed away a couple years. If the time presents itself, I may say hello and say thank you, but a lot of people think I have hard feelings. I don't. Sometimes I don't even think about it because, the guy that made me who I am today, I owe everything to him and him only. Growing up in a military household, you have to be big on respect, and I respect him. I respect a man that walks into a city hall, meets a lady, the lady has a son, he says, so what? He takes the lady and his son in and brings in his two daughters, and they have a family and they raise a family. I respect the man that says, you know what, I got 3 kids, this Army job's not paying enough, let me go do some side jobs to get some money. I respect the guy that says, you know what, we got to get my family out of Newark, the drugs are bad, guys are starting to shoot and kill, let's move to Georgia, let's get a house, let's get a land. I respect the guy that says, you know what, let's go to Germany. I respect the guy that says, after Germany, let's go to Texas. And then, I respect the guy that works hard from check to check and will do whatever it takes. I seen my father borrow money to get my brothers and sisters Christmas presents. Best present he got me was an autographed Dr. J ball. Dr. J was my man. And, me and my father had a good enough relationship to where if the money was tight, he pulled me to the side and be like, big man, I'm gonna take care of your sisters, I'm gonna get them the Barbies and the Barbies' houses they want. I'm coming up short. I'll get you next time. And it was like cool, as long as they were happy, I'm cool. So one morning, everybody's out opening presents, and I thought I wasn't getting a present, and he opens the door, let's go play some ball. Boom, and it was the Dr. J ball. And then a couple weeks after that, keep in mind I'm still a troublemaker, still a juvenile delinquent. A couple weeks after that, he gets some Knicks tickets. Not good tickets, we're up top. Dr. J goes baseline, throws it down, crowd goes crazy. That's when I said, okay, that's what I want to do. I'm a changed man. From that day on, no more juvenile delinquent, tried better in school, stayed out of trouble. They never had a problem out of me after that day.
What was it about that day?
Because like I knew I wanted to be a rapper, and I wanted to be this, and I wanted to be that, but when Dr. J went baseline and the crowd went crazy, it was like, I want that. I want people to scream my name. That's what I want. So from that day on, I came and I practiced every day. Still wasn't any good. Practice, practice, practice. And that's also when I learned how to take criticism and turn it into motivation juice. Like, instead of playing with the kids, I used to play with the men because I was their size. And they always used to say, you're terrible. You stink. You're never getting drafted. You're 13, you're 6'8", you can't dunk, sit on the side. And then one day, my father comes in, he runs in. It's a college coach. I don't know who he is. Dale Brown, LSU. He's going to be up there talking. And, you know, my father was big on scholarships because he wouldn't be able to afford to pay for any of us to go to school. He would just go. Maybe he'll see you, maybe get a scholarship. Like, I don't want to go. Get your ass up, let's go. So Dale Brown's talking, and I'm way in the back. Way in the back. Because, you know, everybody, like, you know, when you get up there, you see all the best players on the base in the gym, and they're sitting there showing off. I'm like, nah, I can't go up there with those guys. So I'm sitting in the back. So Dale's talking. I'm not listening. I have no idea what he says. So after the gym starts to fade out, I go up to him and I was like, sir, can you help me out on strengthening my lower extremities?
That's what he said.
I knew that word because prior to that, I was on punishment. And whenever I got on punishment, my father made me stand on the wall like this and read a dictionary. So I come upon the word extremities. So I hit Coach Brown with, yeah, can you help me to strengthen my lower extremities? And he looked, yeah, how long you been in the Army, soldier? I said, I'm not in the Army, I'm 13. He looked like he was in the Middle East and he was out there camping and he put a stake in the ground and he had the biggest oil eruption in, in history. What? He says, I'm only 13. So he kind of grabs me like it's a secret. Where's your father? Like he's in the sauna. So he busts in the sauna and they talk to my father. And after that, never saw him again, but he wrote me every week. Every week. And if email was out, I'd probably be getting an email every day like I am today. But he wrote me every day. Speeches, game footage, this and that. And one letter said, even if you become a basketball player or not, I'm going to give you a scholarship. Because I used to write them back like, hey, man, I did everything you said. I tried out for the team. They still said I'm a bum. I didn't make it. I want to give up. And he'd never give up. And he sent me speeches by Dr. Martin Luther King. But then by following his advice, I'm starting to come around now. So by the time I get to San Antonio my junior year, I'm a monster. Everybody in the country wants me now. And now I see the light.
It's interesting when you were a freshman in high school, I think you're cut from the varsity basketball team and just devastated. I don't believe you even try out for the varsity team your sophomore year.
No, I don't try out, but I meet a guy who runs a league similar to what the AAU is now, and we still talk now. He's a big guy. His name was Ford McMurtry. Ford, I hope you listen to his interviews. Just want to let you know I love you. He believed in me. Like he would just work with me. Like, and he was a big, heavy set guy. And to be big and heavy set, he knew his stuff. Like he would like work with me every day. So, you know, by the time I got around my sophomore year, I could have made the varsity, but I didn't want to be let down again. So I was like, I'm not going to do it.
And you went from being unable to dunk to your vertical leap grows 2 feet over the course of a year, from freshman year to sophomore year, and the rest is kind of history. I think you lead the team your senior year to a state championship in high school basketball, and after the game, your coach pulls you into the bathroom stall. What does he say to you?
Well, he's crying, because when I came from Germany, nobody knew who I was. Like, you know, a lot of times if you're a great athlete and you come from a school, you bring that baggage, you bring that footage with you, but I didn't have anything. I was just another skinny kid who talked a lot of trash, who was a little bit arrogant. Nobody really believed in me. So my junior year, we go 35-1. The last game we lost, I missed 2 crucial free throws at the end, mess up a single record, so I'm in the locker room crying. I tell the guys, this won't happen again next year. So we go 36-0, and my high school coach, not really a basketball coach, they're more football, baseball guys, Dave Madura. Like if you look at some of my high school footage, he's just sit there and he's not calling no plays, he's not doing anything, he's just letting us play. Well, he pulls me to the den, he gave me a hug, and he said, I love you. You will be the best big man ever. And he like gave me a hug and he started kissing me, and I'm like, I mean, because he was a tough guy. Like he was the guy that like if you miss a free throw in a big game, he'd call you in after practice and just run you. So I actually thought he was mean. So like when he started hugging me and kissing, I was like, what are you doing, bro? Get your hands off me. But he was very happy, very excited, and very proud. And we made history.
Right before you get drafted, you get $1 million for an endorsement deal.
And I spent it in one day.
How'd you do it?
Well, you know, when you're young, you don't have a lot of business savvy. There's two words you forget about: FICA and sales tax. So I thought I was getting $1 million straight up, but you forget about those things. So really I got about maybe like 600,000. So I go buy a $150,000 car. No negotiations. I don't know nothing about negotiations. Guy could have told me 200,000, I would have bought it. So I go and I get a black Mercedes, because that's what I always wanted. Black Mercedes and some nice wheels. Guy was like 150. Write the check. And I come home, my father's like, "That's nice, where's mine?" I was like, "You know what? You made me who I am, jump in." So we ride, told the guy I want another one, same one I got. So there go 300,000 right there. So we get home and my mom was like, "Oh, that's nice. I don't want one that big, I want a little one." Because I know I got more money coming in. So I'm just like, I just want to take care of this stuff now. So I go get my mom one. There's 500,000 right there. So now I got to get suits for the draft. I got to get jewelry. I got to get earrings. You know, I got to buy the Alpine pull-out deck. So when I go to the club, I got it with me. I got to get the alarm that calls the beeper and the phone. So a couple of days later, I got a call from the bank, who was a family friend, the manager of the bank, and he called me and he said, "You know how to read bank statements?" I was like, "Yeah, I learned it in school." So as I was reading it, I was 80,000 in the hole, and I was looking, and I was real embarrassed. And he was like, "I know you got more money coming in. I'm gonna just put this to the side for you." Then he touched my hand and he said, "Son, I watched you play here at high school. You're bright. You're a smart young man. I don't want you to be like all these other athletes." Like I always hear that term all my life. I don't want you to be like all these other athletes. So I said, "You know what? I got to get a financial advisor." So I met with a whole bunch of guys, and you know, a lot of guys were coming in, and I can remember old timers saying, "If it's too good to be true, don't do it." So a lot of guys came in, "Yeah, they say you're gonna get 40 million on your first contract. You give me the 40 million, I can turn it into 200 million by the time you're 23. I was like, I don't like this guy. Another guy say the same thing. And then I met one little small, beautiful Jewish man who says, "I'm in the savings bonds. You know, we're gonna put your money and, you know, we're gonna start a subchapter S corporation from your family. So, you know, all the stuff that you're doing, you can write it off." I was like, "You know what? Shalom, Baruch Hashem. I'm going with you, sir." And his name was Lester Nesbitt. I've been with him, and, you know, he's like a father to me. Like every now and then, you know, I'll get cute. Like one time, me and Tyson was in the Rolls Royce dealership, and Tyson bought 3, and I wasn't gonna buy 3, but I wasn't gonna let him outdo me, so I bought 2, 600,000 going down the drain. Hey, I had it, but Lester called me like, "Hey, gotta stop this." So he's been good to me. You know, it was a right choice to make.
Did you really, I mean, speaking of excess, which, you know, I think when you were younger and playing in the NBA, you had probably a little more fun with that stuff. Did you really once have a fish tank in your Mercedes speakers?
Yes, I did.
Have your bodyguard replace the fish that died daily?
I did. Because, you know, we always used to have competitions on the team, or who could have the best car, best looking car, loudest car. So I was like, let me get a clear box with some fish in it. So we leave the house at 10:30. We buy 2 goldfish. We put them in there. We jam it all the way to practice. By the time we get to practice, the fish are in the bowl again. It didn't work. It didn't work as I would have liked it to.
Kobe Bryant, we first started communicating after I taped the episode with Kobe a couple of years back. And you wrote in your book about him that he was just special. He was different from everyone else.
Yeah, he was different.
From day one. How so?
He had an aura about him that I've never seen in an 18-year-old. The aura was kind of either this kid's really cocky or he believes in it. And you saw his consistency of how he did it. So I knew one day that he's going to be whatever he sets out to be. And, you know, just the only thing that was that I had to figure out a way to how to get him to perform at a high level. And I realized that we were the same people, don't like criticism, turn it into motivation. So, you know, being a leader, you have to find out certain ways to get your employees to perform at a high level. Not everybody responds to this. Oh, come on. Like some guys you gotta. And he was a guy that I know that if I talk smack, he gonna come out and try to score 50. I think it worked perfectly. And you know, if you look at all the groups that had alpha males in them, they all had problems. Beatles, Kobe and Shaq. It happens, you know. And I think it's a big myth. You know, people think you have to be lovey-dovey to win championships. And I just felt sometimes, you know, his way. And, you know, he's a fabulous player. Just felt, you know, sometimes that he didn't do it the right way. And I know he felt sometimes that I didn't work hard or whatever. But, again, it all worked. 3 out of 4. We will be the most talked about, the most enigmatic, the most controversial duo, the best 1-2 punch in the history of the game. And what we did and what I created with the back and forth, it'll always be talked about. I haven't seen or spoken to him in 11 years, and now you ask me about Kobe Bryant. So my plan worked.
Well, I don't think people question whether or not it worked. Obviously, winning 3 consecutive championships, it worked very well.
Exactly.
I think there are people that just wish it could have, you guys could have stayed together for longer because they wonder how much better it could have even been than having.
I think about that all the time, but.
You do?
Yeah, I think about it all the time, but I learned living in Orlando that business overtakes everything. Doesn't matter how you feel, doesn't matter how they feel. So I learned in Orlando that, you know, when players under me were getting offered big money, and I went in the office and tried to get the big money, and they was like, nah, that's okay. Let's not pay Shaq $30 million while he's going into his late 30s. Let's bring it down. But my point of view was, nah, we just won 3 out of 4. I'm just getting started. I at least got 1 or 2 more championships into me. My money's not gonna go down. So you can't bring me from 30 to 20, not with 5 kids.
Right.
No way. Nope. I'm not going down after winning a championship. So they said we would entertain Shaq being traded, and I took offense to that. So I said, well, I want to go to Miami. And that's how that all started.
In my interview with Kobe, he told me that had you not left when you did, he probably would have left via free agency because he wanted to prove that he could win without the big man. What do you think the likelihood was that he had any involvement in, you know, you leaving?
With me leaving?
Uh-huh.
I don't want to say a lot, but he probably told them, or his agent probably said, Shaq's still here, we're going to go. And then, but again, you have to think about the future. You can't think about a guy that's getting older. You got to think about a younger guy that's getting older. And I understand business. I have no problem with that. But being a businessman, approach me business-wise. If you insult me, now I'm going to take offense to that.
It seemed from reading your book, possibly the tensest part of your relationship with Kobe came just prior to the start of the 2003-2004 season. He's in the middle of the rape trial, and the Lakers coaches call both of you in and tell both of you stop sparring in the media. And then Kobe goes and does an interview and basically calls you fat and old and out of shape, and that you're milking your injury to get more time off.
And that's when I'm quoted as saying, I'm going to kill him.
Right.
Because we had the truth, I'm going to kill him. But, you know, the key thing that was there was the respect thing was there. Seemed to hate each other. If he gets double teamed, he's going to still drop it off for the lob. A la Game 7 versus Portland. If we hate each other so much, how come after he crossed Scottie up, how come he didn't take the shot?
And that was one of the kind of pinnacle moments.
That's one of the most historical players together. If he hated me so much, why after the bell, after the clock hit 0, who's the first guy that jumps him on? So the respect thing was there. No, again, people, I'm telling you now, it's a myth if you think that if you're working in a closed environment, everybody gets along. I guarantee you that's not the case. I know for a fact it's not the case. So especially when you got 2 alpha males that want to be in charge. But the respect has to be there.
Why do you think you guys haven't talked since you played together?
Because we don't need to talk. There's nothing to talk about.
You respect each other, but you don't like each other.
Listen, no, it's not that I don't like him. I never said I didn't like him. You never heard me say I didn't like him. But this guy has a beautiful wife and 2 beautiful kids. He's coming towards the end of his career. I'm probably not in his top 50 things to do. And guess what? I got 6 children, 2 in college, and I got a lot of business stuff to do. You know, if we put it this way, if I see him and his lovely wife and his kids in the restaurant, what do you think I'm gonna do? You think I'm gonna go, hey, hello Vanessa, what up Cole? Hi babies, I'm your Uncle Shaq, that's A. Or do you think I'm gonna B, pour water on him in front of his family? What do you think I'm gonna do? You know, NBA stands for nothing but actors. Don't you ever forget it. Don't you ever forget it. And you know, we've talked 40 times after that. Last time I seen him, we hugged each other. We had a good
Why did you just
conversation.
say you hadn't talked in 11 years?
Because I wanted you to think that we didn't talk. But now I'm giving up the secrets. No, last time I was out there, I saw him.
Okay.
At a game, I saw him. And we hugged, what's up, boom, boom. We had a conversation, it was good. Hey man, I'm not gonna, you know, this guy has stuff to do, I have stuff to do. As long as the story is told forever, I'm happy with that.
Phil Jackson, what was discussed in your very first meeting with him?
He's like, listen, you're doing good, but no more rapping, no more videos, no more movie, I need you to concentrate. I'm like, why? I make a lot of money doing it. Why would I stop doing that? So, because if you listen to me, you can get MVP this year and we can win a championship. I was like, all right, I'm gonna give it a shot. And it actually kind of worked. I think that year I averaged 29, played 79 games, MVP by far. I actually would have made history, but some idiot in Atlanta, I wish I could say his name because I would call him an idiot to his face. He messed up history. I would have been the first ever unanimous decision MVP. But this idiot, forgot his name.
Fred Hickman.
Yeah, Fred Hickman, idiot, gives 2 votes to Allen Iverson and he messes up history. Idiot. After all the hard work I put in, idiot Fred Hickman messes up history. Everyone knows that year I was out for blood. Everyone knows. Because Phil gave me the blueprint on how to win the championship. And again, authoritative figure. I checked his resume, got 6 with the great Michael Jordan. I want to add to that. So yes, sir, whatever you tell me to do, I'm gonna do.
What were his team meditation sessions like?
Being from the hood, I know what cannabis smells like. So he had something that was the cousin of cannabis, whatever the hell that means. Sage.
Sage, yeah.
Yeah. So he come in and he said, okay guys, close your eyes. So he'd be waving around, I'm going, weed? And I'm looking, close your eyes, Shaq. So we're sitting there and it was sort of like my dreamful attraction. He would say stuff like, see yourself at the parade. See yourself winning the championship. See yourself dominating the game. See yourself hitting free throws in clutch situations. We would actually do that. And I was like, I'm already used to this. So a lot of times it was cool. A couple times you get tired from hanging out the night before and you hear guys going, but it was always helpful. And the thing that made Phil so good, and I even do this today, he does everything the same way every day. It's called ritual. I have certain rituals that I will not break because of that. Like I do the same thing every day.
He said something about you that I'm sure wasn't intended to be critical, but there's no other way to really look at it, that if you worked harder, he thought you could have won 10 consecutive MVPs. When you heard that, what was your reaction?
I wasn't going to win 10 consecutive MVPs because it was only one of me, and they weren't going to give it to me every year. You know, a lot of people say you should work harder, but then I asked them, how do you know? What do you know? First year, I averaged 29. Who did better than me? So if Tim Duncan is averaging less than me, he's not working hard. Is that what you're saying to me? So a lot of times when people talk, it doesn't make sense. First year, 29, win championship. Second year, average 27. We still win a championship. Third year, average 27 again. We win a championship. I'm going to do what I got to do. In the words of Allen Iverson, we talking about practice. Did I work hard in practice? No, never. And let me tell you why. The guy that I'm playing against, they're under me. So to try to show that they're worthy of being an NBA player, they would touch me up. So it's my philosophy, I'm not going to get touched up twice. I'm not going to get beat up in practice. Then I'm not going to get beat up in the game. So I'll chill in practice and I'll give you my all in the game. So when they used to see that, it was like, oh, he's not working hard, but I'm not. I'm not going to work hard. I'm going to go out in front of these 16,000 people and give you 28-10. I'm going to go out and dominate. I'm going to go out, hit clutch free throws when I need them. That's what you pay me for. You don't pay me to come in here at 9, from 9 to 12. And it's actually a bad way to think. It's actually a bad way to think. No player that's listening to this interview should do what I did. Don't do it. But I knew that if I didn't practice, I knew I'd have to step up in the arena. And I did most of the time. So, again, you got to listen to what people say and how they say it. So his statement is partly correct, but that was my philosophy. I'm not going to go give you 3 hard hours a day getting beat up and go home and get beat up and have to overdose myself on painkillers to get ready for the game. So I'm going to chill out and practice. You let these guys do what they do. I'll be ready in the game. Don't worry about it. I got you.
To what extent do you think you made the most of your talent?
Probably when I didn't have any knick-knack injuries. And, my goal was to just win one. So I'm overqualified. I am. I did it. That was just my goal to win one because I used to get so much flack for not winning one. Just 1 and 1. So let me get 2. Let me get 3. Only regret I have right now is 2 regrets. Actually 3. Missing 5,000 free throws. Not passing up Wilt Chamberlain in points. And not being higher on the scoring list. That's it. Those are my only 3 regrets.
You had more regrets. Championships than Wilt.
Yeah, I got more championships. But, I'm very, when it comes to basketball conversations, I'm very arrogant. I only want to hear my name. So when they say who's the most dominant player ever, I want them to say my name. I don't want them to be like, maybe Wilt, maybe Shaq. That don't fly with me. I want them to say Shaq.
Does that really bother you?
Yeah, it does. Because that was my niche. I wasn't going for the greatest player niche. I wasn't going for, the best. I wasn't going for that because those words are just thrown out. Words like most dominant, you got to earn that. So, Wilt averaged 50 in one season. He did. He averaged 50 in one season. So, when I got really close to him, I think I needed to average like 10, 12 points my last year in Boston, and I would have passed him up. So when I had the career and the injury, I was like, damn, I'm not going to pass Wilt. So those are my only 3 regrets playing. I have no other regrets. I got 4 rings when I only wanted 1. I'm good.
Dwayne Wade, you get to Miami, and the 2 of you have lunch. Why was it important to you to be so open about the issues you and Kobe had coming into that situation?
Because when you don't know a person, you have to go to what you hear or what you see. There's 3 ways to manipulate the mind. What you hear, what you see, and what you read. So he don't know me. You just know that I got a problem with a guy that takes shots. He takes shots. So I said, listen, this is how it goes down. Bada boom, bada bam, bada bang. And at this point, I'm getting older. I'm tired. I don't want to argue with another guy. Me and Penny had a little beef. Me and Kobe had beef. Maybe I am the asshole. So let me change this narrative right now. D, bada bam, bada bing. You the man. It's your city. I can help you win. I know what I got to do. A lot of people don't know that. In the finals, I was having a terrible finals. I don't know what was going on, but we were down 0-2, so I flipped it. What you gonna do, D-Wade? I got 3 people on me. Flash, Antoine, Gary. What you gonna do? I got 4 people on me. What the hell y'all gonna do? So that was my way of getting, and then we just 3 game, bing, 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 bing. Everybody responded. It worked. So, but we didn't have any problems because I was just tired at that point. I don't want to. It's your team. I don't even, because it don't mean nothing. It was my team in LA, and look, I got traded. So that don't mean nothing. So you keep it, young fella. It's yours. But he was a perfect player. Like if you open, bing, 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 and then we had to tell him, yo man, shoot. You got Graham on you, bro. Shoot. Graham can't guard you. I don't just shoot. So we had to tell him to sometimes be aggressive, and it worked.
Tell about the time in practice that Pat Riley throws Jason Williams out, where you knew your days in Miami were numbered after that.
Well, we were having a terrible season. I was hurt. Pat didn't bring some of the players back. We're getting killed. Of course, it's my fault because I'm hurt, whatever. So Jason Williams, who's a friend of mine who lives across the street, who I helped bring in, Him and Pat really didn't get along. So he was a couple of milliseconds late. Pat had this clock, you know, the clock that got the 4 dots on it,
Sure.
0 point. So he's a couple of milliseconds late. So Pat throws him out. But me being the peacekeeper, like, nah, we're a team, you got to stick together, we'll get through this. Pat's like, you want to be a tough guy? You get out. So now you're testing me. So I said, throw me out. So he started walking towards me, we were walking towards each other. We didn't get to touch each other up, I leave. And then I realized my days were outnumbered. But what upset me is that you could have told me. Don't just send me to the doctor's office to get an MRI and then I get a call and I say I've been traded. So if you're gonna be a businessman, let's do business. Let's do proper handshake business. Tell me to my face I'm gonna be traded.
Charity. You know, we were speaking about your upbringing earlier, and obviously you guys were poor, did not have a lot of money. But there's one time your father's, Philip, is taking you out to get a burger and sees a homeless guy. What ends up happening?
He's driving and he sees a homeless guy in some army fatigues. Like if you ever saw a guy in army fatigues, he's pulling over, so he sees a guy, he makes a U-E in the middle of the street, he's talking to this guy, and he recognized the platoon that the guy was from. Man, I know, did you know what? Yeah, I knew him and then there. So the guy was down on his luck, and we had like 5 double cheeseburgers left. My father had $20. And in my mind, I'm like, what are you doing, bro? I'm gonna eat that later. When y'all go to sleep, after everybody get there, I'm gonna eat. What are you doing? Like, I'm like, you know, selfish at this point. Like you finally get some change. I get to stop eating army crackers and army cheese. This is my food. So he gives the guy the food, and he gets in the car and he slams the door and he got a little tear in his eye and he just looks and says, if you ever make, and like I remember these words, if you ever make it big time, make sure you help those in need. And then on Thanksgiving, you know, he would go to the barracks, round up the troops, and we'd have blankets, we have all the army rations that they were getting ready to throw away, whatever we can, Spam, peanut butter, bread, give it to the homeless people. So those are 3 things that I do today because of what a man that made $30,000 a year taught me. From a woman who was a secretary, probably made $20,000 a year. They taught me that. So, you know, a lot of people, when they look at me and the charities that I do, this is from the heart. Like sometimes when I see people doing charities, I could tell they're just doing it for the moment. Like for example, whenever it's a hurricane relief thingy, people who you never see do anything, all of a sudden they just pop up and they're tweeting about it. Like I tell people all the time, I do a lot of stuff seen and unseen. Like it doesn't matter to me if you know that I just fed 10,000 homes. I'm doing this because this was what I was taught. I'm doing it because to walk in there and see a family put a smile on their face for a day, that's just awesome to me.
Whether it be visiting an ill child in the hospital, donating money, or something else, what's been the singular, most personally satisfying thing you've done?
Well, they all have been satisfying. One time, a grandmother had a kid that couldn't walk. I bought her a van. And see, like these are stories that you'll never hear. I bought her a van. Just the other day, I get an email. A little beautiful, and I'll give you her mother's number so you can talk to her. A little beautiful girl that has cancer, A. Marie. So the mom hits me in the email. I don't know if this is your email, but my daughter, she calls you Bubby. She would like to see you. I'm in LA. So I hit her back. I'll be in LA. I'm gonna come see you. This isn't Shaq. I was like, all right, whatever you say. So I go see her, and she wasn't doing well before I went to go see her. So now that I went to see her, her spirits are up. She's happy. I told her to hang in there, and you know, just seeing a kid smile, just seeing the kid smile. It's fulfilling to me, you know, to know that a former high-level juvenile delinquent, who all the experts said was going to be in the Army like his father, who all the people said he was going to be a bum, all the people said he wasn't going to do anything, is now the guy that's making kids all around the world smile. That's my thing. I just want to make you smile.
After your NBA retirement, your agents convened what I understand they called like a Shaq summit right here at your Orlando home with some of your commercial partners. Why did they do it, and what was the benefit of doing so?
Well, Shaq Summit has been going on for many years. I have a lot of endorsements, I have a lot of partnerships. We wanted to create synergy amongst the partners, so everybody's working together. Really don't want me all over the place. So, and it's just a chance for other companies, to do business. For example, Icy Hot, distributed in a lot of places. Let's just say I have a deal with a bubblegum company. You can put the bubblegum company on the Icy Hot box. Everybody sees it. So, again, it was just a chance for all the companies to have synergy amongst one another. And then the reason I did it after I retired, I just wanted to let them know that, it's been a great run. I'm not going anywhere. If you want to continue to do business, that would be appreciated. If not, we understand. But trust me, I'm just getting started.
And I think one of the companies used that first one after you retired, the first Shaq Summit, to basically say, well, we aren't going to do this anymore. And then after they saw what the event was and it was positive, they changed their mind, right?
Yes, they changed their mind, because it's all about presence. And, when you're on an NBA team, I think you're allowed to be on TV maybe 20 times a year. And then the playoffs, you're probably on a lot. But I think with TNT, we're on over 100 times a year. So the exposure would still be there. And I don't think they really knew that or understood that. And, I told myself I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be on this TNT show with the great Barkley, Kenny Smith, the great Ernie Johnson, and we're going to have a good time. It will be the #1 show. It was already the #1 show, but we just, we just kept it going. So, the companies, they understood that and they stuck by me.
Sodas, sedans, speakers, suits, shoes, jewelry, lotions, balms, fitness centers, car washes, burger restaurants. I believe you make more money from endorsements, partnerships, and TV, some 20 plus million annually than you did when you were playing from that sort of stuff. What motivates you?
What motivates me is just having fun. The Shaq brand is all about the fun business. It's never been about money with me. I met Magic Johnson at 19 years old. They announce his name, crowd goes crazy. They announce my name, crowd also goes crazy. It's the first time I meet Magic Johnson, he pulled me to the side and he said, it's okay to be famous, you want to start owning things. 19 years old, I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? But then as I watched him and I studied him, I was like, okay, this is what it means. And then my mother and father did a very good job of keeping me educated, keeping me understanding that 80% of athletes, when they're done playing, have nothing. So, they stress education. They forced me to go back to school, get my bachelor's, get my master's. My mother challenged me to get my doctorate. I did that. But along the way, I was like, you know what? They're right. Because it was a lot of times where I could have had a career-ending injury. And my mother always used to say, you had a good game, but what if you twist your knee and can't play no more? What you gonna do? What if you blow your Achilles? What if? And the ironic thing was I knew that my career was gonna end with a career-ending injury. I knew it.
Why do you prefer not knowing the financial details of a deal before it's agreed upon?
Because when you grew up not having money, money should never motivate you. And it doesn't motivate me. Being in partnership with somebody really motivates me. Helping a company go from A to Z really motivates me. Being a role model to my children really motivates me.
What are your business goals?
What are my business goals? That's a great question. Just have a great partnership, just to help my business and the other businesses expand, and just to have fun. You asked the question why I don't talk about money. It's not important. What's important for me was to go into Arizona and get a soda deal, just to be everywhere. Just to show the kids that I'm fun. Just to show the kids that I have a personality. That's what it's always been about.
So you've had a lot of great business deals. One of your biggest business regrets, Starbucks and Howard Schultz.
Worst.
Tell the story.
So my agent calls me up and he says, Howard Schultz wants to do business with you. And I'm like, coffee. Because growing up in my household, never seen a black person drink coffee. So it was my thought process that black people didn't drink coffee.
And by the way, I loved your autobiography, and
Yes,
I was literally laughing out loud as
Yeah,
you told this story.
I never seen a black person drink coffee, so I was like, we always used to see the commercials, fill it to the rim with brim. We used to see the commercials, but in my house it was always sweet tea, hot chocolate. I never seen a person, so I thought I didn't drink coffee. So anyway, Howard says, Shaq, I want to give you the opportunity to go in with me and open up these Starbucks franchises in African American communities. And I'm always a guy that if I don't believe in it, can't do it. Won't ever do it. No amount of money can make me endorse something that I'm not 100% behind. So I looked at great Howard Schultz's face and said, black people don't drink coffee, sir. I don't think it's going to work. And you should have seen his face. He was like, all right. And, we're still good friends today, but that was one of my worst business decisions. Because now every time on every corner in every city, in every country, I see a Starbucks, I'm like, oh. And then Magic came and did the deal after me, and he just did great with it.
One of your first investments after you got to the NBA, I believe, were coin-operated car washes. And your financial advisor, I think, calls you one day, and he's kind of freaking out because $250,000 has gone missing. Take it from there.
I was being an irresponsible business owner because I had other monies coming in. I was paying my bills with other monies, but I was just having too much fun. Just having too much fun. It's my job.
Wait, but didn't you have the coin things in your bedroom?
Yeah, I had them in the house. Like I would get the coins and the quarters, and I would just take them home and I just put them in my safe. But so much money was coming in, and I didn't think you can take quarters and dimes to the bank like that. Like I didn't want them to think I was, breaking into vending machines. So I would just take them and, just take them, dump them in plastic bags and pillowcases and, just put them in the house. And he was like, what, with 200,000? So I was like, I think I got it in my safe. What? I was like, yeah, I got a whole bunch of quarters in my safe. Yeah.
Explain your interest in being part of the SWAT team and the rope you had put at your house.
I got two uncles in my family that were all law enforcement. I love law enforcement. I love cops. I love being a cop. My final dream when I'm retired with everything, no more TV and all that, is to be sheriff. I realize that I have a voice. I realize I speak all languages. I speak the Shalomian language. I speak the brother language. I speak the juvenile language. I speak the kitty language. I speak the political language. I think I'll be an excellent sheriff. And my business philosophy has not failed me yet. Eisenhower said the greatest of leaders are the ones smart enough to hire people smarter than me. So when I become sheriff, I'm gonna have some smart guys around me. So I know I'll do a fabulous job. But when I graduated from LA Sheriff Academy, put on a uniform and I go out, it's like a movie. Like we couldn't even do our job properly because people coming up taking pictures. So I moved to Grand Theft Auto. Similar to the same thing. Then I moved to Crimes Against Children Task Force. But as I'm looking at the SWAT guys, I'm like, I'm big, I'm strong, I can kick a door off. So I go through the SWAT test. Everything's good except when it comes to climbing the rope. I can't climb the rope at all. So I convinced them, I said, okay. They were like, well, you're big, we never had a guy this big. Maybe we'll get, I was like, nah, you can't give me nothing. No, I don't, nope. Because if you do that, these guys that I'm walking in with, they'll never trust me. And that's why I went to the police academy. I don't want you to give me no badge, don't give me nothing. I want to earn it. I'm a son of a military drill sergeant. We earn what's ours. Went every day, during the championship years. I don't know if Phil will know, but after practice, I go to the academy, put on my uniform, go to the academy. So, like, no, don't give me. But what about if you put knots in the rope? Yeah, some places do that. Okay, we'll do it. All right, give me a couple weeks. So I put this on the side of my house. I got a 50-foot rope with knots in it. So every day I'm doing it, I couldn't do it. So then one day I just get pissed off and I'm doing it. Boom, 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 boom. I'm so happy that I called my kids and everybody to come outside. My house is like 3 stories, so I'm up there now. So I'm looking at them, but I forget where I was. Like, hey, look, and I let go, and I bow, fall right back on my back. And I was like, you know what? I don't think I want to be on a SWAT team anymore. I'm done with the SWAT team. But a lot A lot of things like that. I just love challenges. Because again, if you look at those guys, they're just so opposing and they're just so brave. And I wanted to be that. I wanted to be the last guy to come in, kick in your door, suspect, get them in a prone position, line them up, house is secure, bring them out, everything's safe. I love that.
And I was amazed by your commitment to it, because when you were in the police academy, this was actually in season while you're playing. There'd be
during the playoffs, all of that.
There'd be like practice days in town. Practice would go to noon. You'd be at the police academy from 1 to 10 p.m.
Only time I didn't go was the night before games. A lot of times I didn't go the night before games.
What was your most memorable raid?
I can't talk about it. That's illegal.
Oh, come on.
I did have one where we hit the wrong house, and I'll let you look that up, and I'll let you talk about it. You're not really allowed to talk about it. But,
Virginia Beach?
Yeah, something like that. You did your research.
I'm trying.
No, you're a good detective. I could tell you this though. It was in farm country. You know how most houses, they got the letters that you can buy at the store, that you nail them?
Right.
So he's looking for, let's just say 7546, but we went to 7549. But the 9, one of the nails that came out, and it made it look like a 6. So we hit the wrong house.
What happened?
I can't tell you. We got in a lot of trouble, just put it that way.
Tell about the different degrees that you have. And do you really have, you mentioned you want one of your kids to be a lawyer. Do you really have interest in going to law school still yourself?
Yeah, I have interest in going to law school. Bachelor's degree. I leave school, I get 40 million. I get 100 million. I get 80 million. But I'm getting calls once a week. Yeah, you're doing movies, you're doing albums, but you promised me, babe, that you would go back to school. Never like to let my mom down, so. And then, I left my junior year, so I was only a few credits short. So I go back to school, 2 hot summers in Baton Rouge. And I'm loving it, but I'm hating it at the same time, but I'm like, just let me do this for my mom. So in 2000, I graduate with my bachelor's degree. But then I realized that when I go to a business meeting, let's just say you're my agent and the guys over here talking about business, they were, hey Shaq, how you doing? Then they talk to my guy. And I found that to be disrespectful. I'm like, I'm making the final decision anyway. What you looking at my agent for? I understand. Oh, you don't think I understand your terms? I'll be back. University of Phoenix, Masters of Business. Just to let them know that I understand what's going on. So now you can talk to me and I'll relay the information to my agent. Don't even look at him. You talk to me now about the terms, about this, about the JV, all that stuff. Talk to me about it. So I did that. My mom comes and she set me up too. She's like, we don't have no doctors in the family. I'm like, what do you mean? She said, we don't have any PhDs in the family. So I'm like, I could be the first out of all the O'Neals to be a doctor. Okay, I'll be back. So then I go to Barry University. Took me 5 years. I become a PhD. It was awesome. And now, not only was it awesome for me, it's awesome for my kids. I went to a parent-teacher conference one time, and a guy recognized me as Dr. O'Neal. He didn't call me Shaq. Dr. O'Neal, how are you, sir? I also have a doctorate in education. We had a whole conversation. It was awesome. Like, as a dad, that was awesome. Being Shaq is awesome too, but I come in a suit, and this guy, he addressed me as Dr. O'Neal. I was like, I'm looking at my son, and my son's looking really proud. Like, not only is he proud that I'm the Shaqster, but he's also proud that his daddy is the doctor. So even though I did it for myself, I did it for them also. And it's a building here in Orlando. I want it. I want it so bad. And it's a lot of great lawyers here in Orlando. See, what I'm good at, I'm the Black Jerry West. I could put a hell of a team together. So my goal is to just get these lawyers that got their own little law firms, put them together, and we make a hell of a partnership. But again, if I just buy a building, put my name on it with other lawyers, they're gonna be talking over my head. You understand what I'm saying? But if they know and understand that I also have a law degree, I'm in charge, everything will go right. So think about law school. Because I just want to, not that I want to practice law, I just want to have a law firm that take care of everything. I want to be the new Johnny Cochran of law. That's my goal. And I talk about it all the time, and I use dreamful attraction. It will happen one day, just don't know when.